about witches. In fairy tales, witches always wear silly black hats and black cloaks, and they ride on broomsticks. But this is not a fairy tale. This is about real witches. The most important thing you should know about real witches is this. Now listen very carefully. Never forget what is coming next. Real witches dress in ordinary clothes and look very much like ordinary women. They live in ordinary houses and they work in ordinary jobs. That is why they are so hard to catch. A real witch hates children with a red-hot sizzling hatred that is more sizzling and red-hot than any hatred you could possibly imagine. A real witch spends all of her time plotting how to get rid of the children in her particular territory. Her passion is to do away with them, one by one. It is all she thinks about the whole day long. Even if she is working as a cashier in a supermarket, or typing letters for a businessman, or driving around in a fancy car, and she could be doing any of these things, her mind will always be plotting and scheming and churning and burning and whizzing and fizzing with murderous, bloodthirsty thoughts. Which child, she says to herself all day long, exactly which child shall I choose for my next squelching? A real witch gets the same pleasure from squelching a child as you get from eating a plateful of strawberries and thick cream. She reckons on doing away with one child a week. Anything less than that and she becomes grumpy. Now, one child a week is 52 a year. She squishes them and squiggles them and makes them disappear. And that is the motto of all witches. Very carefully, such a victim is chosen. Then the witch stalks the wretched child like a hunter stalking a bird in the forest. She treads softly. She moves quietly. She gets closer and closer. Then at last, when everything is ready, she swoops. Sparks fly, flames leap, oil boils, rats howl, skin shrivels, and the child disappears. Now, a witch, you must understand, does not knock children on the head, or stick knives into them, or shoot at them with a pistol. People who do those kinds of things get caught by the police. A witch never gets caught. Don't forget that she has magic in her fingers and devilry dancing in her blood. She can make stones jump like frogs, and she can make tongues of flames go flickering across the surface of the water. These magic powers are very frightening. Luckily, there are not a great number of real witches in the world today, but there are still quite enough to make you nervous. In England, there are probably about 100 of them altogether. Some countries have more, and others have not quite so many, but no country in the world is completely free from witches. A witch is always a woman. I do not wish to speak badly about women, but most women are lovely, but the fact remains that all witches are women. There is no such thing as a male witch. On the other hand, a ghoul is always a male. So indeed is a barghest, but both are dangerous, but neither of them is half as dangerous as a real witch. As far as children are concerned, a real witch is easily the most dangerous of all the living creatures on earth. What makes her doubly dangerous is the fact that she does not look dangerous. Even when you know all of the secrets, and you will hear more about those in a moment, you can still never be quite sure that whether it is a witch you're gazing at or just a kind lady. If a tiger were able to make himself look like a large dog with a waggly tail, you would probably go up and pat him on the head, and that would be the end of you. It is the same with witches. They all look like nice ladies, but which lady is the witch? That is a difficult question, but it is one that every child must try to answer. For all you know, a witch might be living next door to you now, or she might be the woman with the bright eyes who sat opposite you on the bus this morning. She might even be the lady with the dazzling smile who offered you a sweetie from a white paper bag in the street before lunch. She might even, and this will make you jump, she might even be your lovely school teacher who is reading these words to you at this very moment. Look carefully at the teacher. Perhaps she is smiling at the absurdity of such a suggestion. Don't let that put you off. It could be part of her cleverness. I'm not, of course, telling you for 1 second that your teacher actually is a witch, but all I am saying is that she might be one. It is most unlikely, but, and here comes the big but, it is not impossible. Oh, if only there were a way of telling for sure whether a woman was a witch or not, then we could round them all up and put them in the meat grinder. Unhappily, there is no such way, but there are a number of little signals you can look out for, little quirky habits that all witches have in common. And if you know about these, if you remember them always, then you might just possibly manage to escape from being squelched before you are very much older.
"Is there anybody there?" said the traveller, knocking on the moonlit door, and his horse in the silence champed the grasses of the forest's ferny floor. And a bird flew up out of the turret above the traveller's head. And he smote the door a second time. "Is there anybody there?" he said. But no one descended to the traveller. No head from the leaf-fringed sill looked over into his grey eyes, where he stood perplexed and still. But only a host of phantom listeners that dwelt in the lone house then stood listening in the quiet of the moonlight to that voice from the world of men, stood thronging in the faint moonbeams on the dark stair that goes down to the empty hall, hearkening in an air stirred and shaken by the lonely traveller's call. And he felt in his heart their strangeness, their stillness answering his cry, while his horse moved cropping the dark turf neath the starred and leafy sky. For he suddenly smote the door even louder and lifted his head. "Tell them I came, that no one answered, that I kept my word," he said. Never the least stir made the listeners, though every word he spake fell echoing through the shadowiness of the still house from the one man left awake. Aye, they heard his foot on the stirrup, and the sound of iron on stone, and how the silence surged softly backward when the plunging hoofs were gone.
Look out, it's the Sanderson sisters!
Thank you, Mother, for that marvelous introduction.
I put a spell on you, and now you're mine.
You can't stop the things I do. I land.
Oh, been 300 years. Right down to the day. Now the witch is back, and you're all going to pay.
I put a spell on you. And now you're mine! Hello, Bangor! My name's Winifred. What's yours?
I put a spell on you, and now you're gone.
So long, my webby fell on you, and it was strong.
So strong, so strong, so strong.
Your wretched little lives have all been cursed because of all the witches working. I'm the worst. I put a spell on you, and now you're mine. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out.
If you don't believe, you better get superstitious. Ask my sister.
Oh, she's vicious.
I put a spell on you.
Wicked spell. I put a spell on you, sister. I say into pie up and maybe up and die.
I say into pie up and maybe up and down.
In comma Koriyama.
In comma Koriyama.
Hey, I say bye bye. Bye bye.
Creatures from another world, only statues when you see them. Lonely assassins, they used to be called. No one quite knows where they came from, but they're as old as the universe itself, or very nearly. The reason they've survived this long is that they've the perfect defense mechanism. They're quantum locked. They don't exist when they're being observed. The moment they're seen by any living creature, they freeze into rock. No choice, it's a fact of their biology. As soon as they're seen by any living thing, they literally turn to stone. And you can't kill a stone. Of course a stone can't kill you either. But then you turn your head away, and you blink. And yes, it can. That's why they cover their eyes. They're not weeping. They can't risk looking at each other. Their greatest asset is their greatest curse. They can never be seen. Loneliest creatures in the universe. And I'm sorry. I'm very, very sorry. But it's up to you now. Listen, your life may depend on this. Don't blink. Don't even blink. Blink and you are dead. They are fast. Faster than you can believe. Don't turn away. Don't turn your back. And don't blink. Good luck.
Colonel Fitzachary Butterworth Toast bought an old castle, complete with a ghost, but someone or other forgot to declare to Colonel Fizak that the spectre was there. On the very first evening, while waiting to dine, the Colonel was taking a fine sherry wine, when the ghost, with a furious flash and a flare, shot out of the chimney and shivered, "Beware!" Colonel Fizachary put down his glass and said, "My dear fellow, that's really first class. I just can't conceive how you do it at all. I imagine you're going to a fancy dress ball?" At this, the dread ghost made a withering cry. Said the Colonel, his monocle firm in his eye, "Now just how you do it I wish I could think. Do sit down and tell me, and please have a drink." The ghost in his phosphorus cloak gave a roar, and floated about between ceiling and floor. He walked through a wall, and returned through a pane, and backed up the chimney, and came down again. Said the Colonel, with laughter, "I'm feeling quite weak," as trickles of merriment ran down his cheek. "My housewarming party I hope you won't spurn. You must say you'll come, and you'll give us a turn." At this the poor spectre, quite out of his wits, proceeded to shake himself almost to bits. He rattled his chains, and he clattered his bones, and he filled the whole castle with mumbles and moans. But Colonel Fizachary, just as before, was simply delighted, and called out, "Encore!" At which the ghost vanished, his efforts in vain, and never was seen at the castle again. "Oh dear, what a pity," said Colonel Fizak. "I don't know his name, so I can't call him back." and then with a smile that was hard to define, Colonel Fitzzackerly went in to dine.
Everyone thinks my sister is so nice. Yeah, just a big pink ball of fluff and candy, like sugar wouldn't melt in her mouth. I mean, is it any wonder she's dressed girly from head to toe? It's like evil couldn't get in around all the fluff and pink. It's proof that she's mom and dad's favorite because they give me black to wear. Yeah, it's just black, and more black. And do you know how warm it can get in summer wearing black all day long? Is it any wonder I'm a little bit grouchy at times? Yeah. Imagine Glinda wearing black. I don't think she'd last too long. No, with her it's all smiles and songs and more pink. Yeah. You know, she's been called the good witch, and I've been the bad witch, even though she turned an entire town of people into munchkins. I turned one guy into a scarecrow, and suddenly I'm wicked. It's not fair. She gets away with everything. So I hope now you can understand why I occasionally like to zap people. You know what? That gives me an idea. Zap. I'm pink. I'm pink. Interesting.
Hey mom, dad, mom, I need a little help here. I'm probably talking to myself here, but dad, mom, I gotta ask, are you really in the ground? 'Cause I feel you all around me. Are you here, dad, mom, dad, mom, dad, mom? I'm tired of trying to iron out my creases. I'm a bunch of broken pieces. It was you who made me whole. Every day Dad's staring at me like, oh, hurry up, get happy, move along, forget about your mom. 'Cause Daddy's in denial, Daddy doesn't wanna feel. He wants me to smile and clap like a performing seal. Ignored it for a while, but Daddy's lost his mind for real. You won't believe the mess that we've become. You're my home, my destination, and I'm your clone, your strange creation. You held my hand, and life came easy. Now jokes don't land, and no one sees me. Nothing seems to fit. Mama, is this it? Are you receiving? I want something to believe in, or I'm done. Take me where my soul can run, or I'll be in my bedroom. Wake me when I'm 21. Daddy's moving forward. Daddy didn't lose a mom. Mama, won't you send a sign? I'm running out of hope and time. A plague of mice, a lightning strike, or drop a nuclear bomb. No more playing Daddy's game. I'll go inside.
insane if things don't change. Whatever it takes to make him say your name, Dead Mom.
Oh, look at the state of us now. They've mutilated us. I used to be all smooth and shiny, and now this.
In fairness, time was taking care of that for you anyway, my dear. Blimey, it's downright creepy, isn't it? Suddenly having a mouth, a nose, and eyes. Do I look ugly?
Well, no, they were just little children with spoons and carving knives, not miracle workers, so you can't expect them to have done much to change that. Tell you what, though, this speaking lark's pretty good, isn't it? Oh, now I won't have to try and guess what you're thinking. No more guessing what mood you're in.
In my defence, mime isn't the easiest game for a pumpkin to play. Now then, let me have a look at you. You know, I think you look great, like you've lost a power of weight.
Oh, cheeky. Don't you know it's rude to comment on a lady's weight? Although, now you mention it, I'm feeling a little lighter. A little empty inside, in fact. Maybe I'm hungry. The humans are hungry all the time, but I've never been it before.
Me too. Look at us go. They say once you've been together as long as us, you stop trying new things. But here we are, hungry. Hold on a minute. 2 hungry mouths to feed, with no arms or legs to make a living with. What a gym.
Oh, have a scout about. See if you can find something for us to eat.
What do we have here? Pumpkin pie. Oh, how lovely. A nice pie for us pumpkins. Jolly good. Almost makes up for all that slashing and scooping.
Stop! I don't think that's pie for pumpkins. I think it must be pie of pumpkins.
Oh, first they chop us up and scoop us out for fun. Now they're eating us too. What sort of monsters are these humans?
Oh, I wish we were potatoes, growing all safe and cosy underground. I bet this kind of thing never happens to potatoes.
Oh, no wonder they call this the scariest time of year. Spooky Halloween.
Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, whilst I nodded nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door, only this and nothing more. Ah, distinctly I remember, it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my book surcease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Lenore, nameless here forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now to still the beating of my heart I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul before me burning, soon again I heard a tapping, somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind and nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter, and with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obedience made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mine of lord or lady perched above my chamber door, perched upon a post of ballast just above my chamber door, perched and sat and nothing more. Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou, I said, art sure no craven, ghostly grim and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee, respite, and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, O quaff this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word or sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked upstarting, get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart and take thy thorn from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting, on the pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and in that light o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore.
No living organism can continue for long to exist sanely under conditions of absolute reality. Even larks and katydids are supposed by some to dream. Hill House, not sane, stood by itself against its hills, holding darkness within. It had stood so for 80 years, and might stand for 80 more. Within, walls continued upright, bricks met neatly, floors were firm, and doors were sensibly shut. Silence lay steadily against the wood and stone of Hill House, and whatever walked there walked alone. It was a house without kindness, never meant to be lived in. It was not a fit place for people, or for love, or for hope. Nothing can alter the countenance of a house. Hill House would stay as it was until it was destroyed. All I could think when I got a look at the place from the outside was what fun it would be to stand out here and watch it burn down. The menace of the supernatural is that it attacks where modern minds are the weakest, where we have abandoned our protective armour and superstition, and we have no substitute defence. But you cannot convince me otherwise than that it watches. The house, it watches every move you make.
Halloween in Lockdown, narrated by Shirley and Natalie Sweeney. Just a little something that I wrote.
Halloween in lockdown. What does that mean to me? Holding people closer, though perhaps not physically. Cherish friends, Zoom a lot, keep a little check. On those who may be lonely, isolation should not wreck.
Halloween in lockdown. What does that mean to me? I am okay to shut the door and slow the pace right down, but I also know for others that is hard and makes them frown. If it's hard for you, then make a call, an email, chat or Zoom. Don't tough it out, it's tough enough. Much better if you shout,
I'm not okay! Halloween in lockdown, what does that mean to me? No pantomime this year, good grief, who would ever believe? The drama now is different, and not in a good way. Still, We make it work and make sure that we can all feel okay.
Halloween in lockdown, what does that mean to you? A pumpkin lantern gives us light, make sure to let it glow. Kind thoughts mean a warm hug when we can't be there to show we care. Halloween in lockdown, what does that mean to you? Be kind to all, and specially, that includes you too.
We will get back to stage and set, more laughter we will share. Our friends and family we will see, for now they know we care.
Halloween in lockdown, it's not forever so. Do not despair, let down your hair, we'll soon put on a show. Keep